Many of us learned early that it wasn't safe to show all of who we were. We were told to stop crying. We were told to toughen up. We were left alone when we needed comfort the most. So we learned to hide the parts that felt too soft, too messy, too needy. We smiled when we were sad. We stayed quiet when we wanted to speak. We acted strong when we needed help. Little by little, we pushed parts of ourselves away just to survive. But hiding doesn't erase pain. It just buries it deeper. And as the years pass, that hidden pain shows up in the anxiety that grips us for no reason, in the sadness that never fully lifts, in the way we feel alone even in a room full of people. Ancient wisdom teaches that what we bury inside us never disappears. It waits. Healing begins when we stop running from the parts we were forced to abandon. And when we listen with compassion, we find they were never wrong for feeling what they felt. The feelings we pushed down didn't stay quiet. They lived inside us, shaping the way we see the world. They taught our bodies to tense at kindness, to brace for disappointment even before it came. They taught our minds to doubt when someone reached out. They taught our hearts to hold back, even when every part of us longed to be known. The words we couldn't say turned into silent patterns we couldn't escape. The anger that flares up at the smallest hurt. The fear that tightens around us when someone gets too close. The tiredness that no amount of sleep seems to heal. The loneliness we feel even when we're surrounded by people. Healing isn't about blaming ourselves for carrying these patterns. It's about understanding them, feeling them, and giving them the voice they never had. Every hidden feeling deserves the dignity of being seen. When we honor the weight we've carried, we begin to set ourselves free, not by forgetting the past, but by making space for it to heal. When the world felt unsafe, we found ways to protect what was left of us. We became the strong ones, the quiet ones, the ones who needed nothing. We learned to work harder, move faster, stay busier, anything to outrun the ache that lived just beneath the surface. These were not mistakes. They were survival. They were the smartest choices we could make at the time, when safety was a luxury we couldn't afford. They helped us endure in a world that often misunderstood or dismissed our needs. But protection has a cost. The walls that kept hurt out also kept love from getting in. The armor that saved us started to suffocate us, making it hard to breathe, hard to hope. Ancient wisdom tells us, armor is meant to be worn in battle, not in every season of life. We were not made to live braced for attack forever. Healing begins when we realize the war is over, and it's safe to lay down what once kept us alive. Beneath all the layers we built to survive, something in us remained untouched. A part that still hopes, still trusts, still longs for something real. It is easy to lose sight of this part when life exhausts us, when disappointment stacks up, when fear takes root. But it never left. It waited, quietly, patiently, through every heartbreak and every silence. It waited through the nights we thought we would not make it. It waited through the days we forgot what softness even felt like. The ancients taught that even in the deepest winter, the roots below the ground remain alive. Even when everything on the surface seems broken, life still stirs beneath. This strength is not loud. It doesn't demand attention. It lives in the small moments we often overlook. The breath we take instead of the wall we build. The tenderness we offer ourselves when no one else does. Healing is remembering that we are more than what hurt us. We are also the ones who survived it. Attachment theory reminds us that even when early bonds were damaged or missing, the capacity for connection remains alive inside us. The self, as Internal Family Systems IFS describes, is never damaged by trauma. It remains whole beneath the pain. We are also the ones who survived it. And healing deepens when we begin to trust that the self inside us knows how to lead. In IFS, the self is described as inherently curious, compassionate, and calm. The very qualities we need to reweave our inner world. Trauma may have shaped our protective parts, but it never touched the core of who we are. Healing invites us to build relationships between ourselves and our hurt parts, patiently showing them they are no longer alone. Every small act of turning inward with understanding, every breath, every moment of kindness, is how we begin to come home. Healing does not happen in a single moment of clarity. It happens in the slow, steady return to ourselves. It happens when we choose to stay instead of run, when we soften instead of harden, when we speak the truth even when our voice trembles. The body that once braced for harm begins to breathe more deeply. The heart that once hid behind walls begins to risk feeling again. The nervous system, shaped by fear, slowly rewires through safety, repetition, and care. Dr. Peter Levine, through somatic experiencing, teaches that trauma isn't only what happened to us, it's what got stuck inside when we didn't have the chance to process it. Healing is offering our bodies and hearts the chance to finish what fear interrupted. Stephen Porges, through polyvagal theory, reminds us that our nervous system isn't designed to stay in survival mode forever. Healing begins when we realize the war is over, and it's safe to lay down what once kept us alive. Healing does not make you invincible. It makes you honest. It teaches you to meet yourself exactly where you are, without shame, without apology. The world taught you that you had to be hard to survive, that you had to silence your needs to be worthy of love. Healing is remembering what fear tried to erase, that you were always enough, that your softness was never weakness, that survival was never meant to be your whole life story. Modern trauma research reminds us the nervous system can learn safety again, even after decades of survival mode. Dr. Stephen Porges and Dr. Peter Levine both show us that healing happens not by denying the past, but by slowly, patiently building new patterns of trust, connection, and breath. Healing is not about becoming who you once were. It's about becoming who you were meant to be before fear taught you otherwise. You are not broken to be fixed. You are a living story still unfolding. And the next chapter is yours to choose.